Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome to my podcast, The Morning Mood. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've been enjoying our almost month. I think we're over a month of podcast on supply chain leadership in life. And today I am hot off the heels of kind of a coaching counseling session with a colleague, and I wanted to share with you the conversation because I think it's super relevant. This probably falls under both all three, supply chain leadership and life. But the topic is process over people. Now, you'll often hear people say people over process, but we are going to talk about process over people. And what this particular situation is about. Now, I'm going to use an example, kind of a loose example that hopefully will illustrate my point, but also be loose enough so that you can apply it to maybe some situations that are going on with you. So the situation is this: my colleague is very frustrated with her job, and she is really focused on everything that's wrong about it. And this has been going on for a while. Her perpetual dissatisfaction with the role, can't really put a finger on it, but it's sort of been perpetually getting worse for her. And she's continuing to use her old tricks and try to get through this and work through it, but she's continually frustrated and she's to the point where it's consumed her. It's consumed her life and it's on the verge of becoming her personality. And I think we all have been there. Like none of this is cast in judgment or as I've said before, in my white robe standing on the soapbox. No, I've been here, which is probably why I can spot it so quickly. But, just general dissatisfaction with everything that's going on. So, we dig in, what's happening, what's going on, how about this, how about that? Well, what's she doing? What did he say? And, most of the conversations are focusing on, well, he said this, and then he did that, and then she said this, and then she did that, and then they set this up, and then they set that up, and then nobody asked me what I was supposed to do, and nobody talked to me about it, and nobody checked in with me, and they did this, and they did that, and I'm upset. I am upset. I am upset because of what they did. And a lot of our conversations have focused and swirled around that. What did he do? What did she do? How did she say it? How did they say it? Just that. Over there, everyone else's fault. It's that person, it's that person, it's that person, it's that team, it's that team, it's that team. And of course, as we start digging in, we start to notice some discrepancies in what this person's supposed to be doing versus what their expectations are. And in some cases, they're dropping their own ball on their own job. But they're so focused on them and what those people are doing to them. Now, this is a professional situation. I know this is starting to sound like Real Housewives, but this is actually a professional situation. So focused on what they are doing that she has completely lost focus. Totally lost focus on the North Star, totally lost any sort of plot, and has really been spending probably the last 3 to 4 months chasing them, focusing on what they aren't doing right, focusing on what they are supposed to be doing, focusing on what they are doing to her, and also very frustrated with the outcome of the product. So, not getting a good product, not delivering on time, sprints aren't running well, the whole 9 yards, right? Kind of a tech dev environment at crisis is what I would call this. There's a whole lot that I uncovered as part of this, and we'll get to a lot of that later. But there's some very basics in dev management that were not happening as part of this process, which was what is probably at the kernel, what is causing a lot of this frustration. But the focus has been on them, the people who are doing this, individual names. Who is doing this? That's what we're focused on right now. So this is a conversation and we can't move forward. And we're not moving forward and we're not actually making any traction because all we're talking about is really people's personalities and their personal motivation, which of course we cannot possibly know that, right? We cannot possibly know someone's personal motivation. But and we can't change somebody's personality, not in a professional environment, for sure, probably not even in a personal environment, though I've tried. So what is she can't nothing's changing. Nothing is improving. In fact, what is actually happening is it's getting worse. Materially worse. Like worse. For all those who aren't sure what material meant there, like worse, like way worse. It's getting worse by the week because the personal conflicts are escalating. They did this. He set up a meeting. I told him not to. Duh. I'm going to cancel. I'm not going to go. I'm going to email the team and tell them not to go. He did this. She did this. She told me she made a change and she didn't tell me. And now she's coming back and saying that she did tell me. And I'm going to have to fight. I'm going to blast her. Completely ineffective. Now, unfortunately for this person, this is starting to bleed over into their personal life as well. Because they're constantly agitated, constantly frustrated, constantly disappointed, constantly unhappy. Because they are doing this to her every day. It's become personal. They are personal attacks to her, personal misdeeds, personal end rounds, focused on her as an individual. This is where her head is at this point. And I want to reiterate for you that she's become increasingly unhappy, increasingly chaotic, and just continuing to double down on this. It's everybody. It's a personal attack, and I am going to personally attack back. So, how is this manifested for this person? Besides the fact that she's talking to me about it, and I have certainly been here. And when I have gotten coaching on this topic in the past, it has been with the alliteration of the dance and the vessel. So, if you have ever been through any sort of counseling or emotional support on this topic, you may have heard one of those two things. So, I have personally been here, and so I'm sympathetic, right, to the situation. I want to make it better for her, but I'm trying to listen. But we can't change people. And how I have learned about this in the past and how I have managed this in the past is that it's called the dance. So someone engages in you, they trigger you, they hook you, they somehow strike a nerve. And that is the invitation to dance. And when you accept that invitation to dance, when you react to whatever it is that happened, you are now in a dance together. And it's who controls the dance and swirling you around the dance floor, and you lose sort of your context and your orientation, and you kind of spend up spinning like my friend. She's spinning. Just spinning. And continuing to spin faster because of this approach that she has taken. It's bleeding into her personal life. People are starting to reach out and say, hey, we used to work together so well before. I don't know what happened. What's going on? It's starting to affect it. Her performance, her product, everything. And that's what we focus on. Is their personalities, who are they doing it? Why are they doing it? What is their motivation? Are they trying to get promoted? Just everything. Focused on everything about them. Now, if you've listened to some of my previous podcasts, you'll know that the them you thing is very interesting. So in this situation, all of her problems were about them. All of her dissatisfaction in her career was about them. So on my previous podcast, I said it's not about you. Well, I'm going to flip that on y'all because here's the thing. If you are dissatisfied with everybody else in your life, everybody else in your life, every aspect of your life is miserable. You're miserable, they're miserable, everybody's miserable. If that is the situation, it's you. Yeah. So I'm going to flip it. Like I said, it's you. If you are unable to get your job done and unable to work with a bunch of different teams, it's you. It's not them. So that is step number one. What are you doing to create the situation? Okay. What is your contribution to this problem? That's number one. And number two, using this example and using what we've just talked about, deep dissatisfaction with the team, not getting along, all the problems are them. They're doing stuff, they're doing it, they're doing it, they're doing. Products are falling, sprints are falling behind, features are not getting released on time, MVP is missing, everything, right? Complete dev breakdown. Here's the thing. It's not about the people. And the fact that she was focusing on the people is what was actually making her fail. And she's failing. She was failing. That's what's causing her to fail. Because it isn't about the people. In operations, tech dev management, any sort of operation, supply chain operations, marketing operations, website operations, accounting operations, I'm going to just say just about anything in this world is built on a process. And when you start to see catastrophic failures in an organization and with individuals, it is a process issue, not a people issue. Here's why it's different. In this particular situation, once I dug into what was going on and set aside the armchair pop psychology dissection of the complete organization and focused on what was actually happening, it became exceptionally clear that it was the process that was broken, not the people. The process was broken. First and foremost, they're in an agile environment working like a waterfall tech shop. Mistake number one. And I have seen this many times, and I'm actually going to add this to my little list. I have not got my special book yet, but I will get a special book. I'm going to add this to my list. Wet agile is what I call it. And I know that's offensive, and I like it. Wet agile. So there's some aspects of the dev process that are a little wonky. There's some communication that is taken on a blast style. Okay. So back in the day, we had email and phone and a meeting. Okay. This is way back when. And so you had 3 ways to get a hold of somebody and make a decision. Now we have communication through software. We have Slack. We have Discord. We have Teams chats. We have a shit ton of ways to communicate. So part of this issue also was that communication was coming from multiple channels. It was not streamlined. That was leading to questions and answers being missed, lack of trackability in what was going on, duplication of work, right? All of these things would frustrate you, right? All of these things would make you mad at work, right? Yep. God damn you, I would. Yep. Pest as hell. Sprints are falling or spilling over. What's being built isn't actually what's supposed to be being built because somebody decided to change something and maybe they did communicate it or didn't communicate it. We are completely unsure if that actually happened. There's no real business building a sprint. The sprints are all built by the tech team without any, prioritization from the business organization. Again, bad biz dev or bad tech dev. I don't care what you say. If you're building tech in a company, you're building it for the business. You don't build tech for yourself unless you're a tech op. Okay. You're building it for a customer and the business. And that is the only reason that you build tech, to add value to the company. You do not build tech to add value to your career. And I've had this argument many times, and I've caught many people fluffing shit up because it would make them look good and added zero value. In fact, in some cases, took value away from the organization because they prioritized something for their career, not for the company and not for the customer. I digress. So this is the situation. We have complete process breakdown and we have personal attacks. We have gotten to the point, and I've been here before, where we're literally just lobbing shit over the wall. Like we're just, fuck you, lob it over the wall, take it, lob it back. No communication, just lobbing. And I've done the lobbing before. I've been in the lobbing. Lobbing does not work. I'm going to tell you right now, lobbing does not work. And I have actually sat down tech orgs and called out the lobbying, and we were both doing it. Yo, man, all we are doing is lobbing shit over this fence. We're not talking, we're not helping each other, and we're not, frankly, getting anywhere. So how about if we knock down the fence, have a quick chat, and get this puppy moving, babe? Those are communications you have to have. So anyway, so this is what's going on, right? Frustrating. I am frustrated hearing about this shit. But the process is broken, not the people. There is a broken process. No streamlined change management, no business sign-off on sprint, no tech sign-off on business requirements. And that is absolutely important. All you business people out there who are like, no, tech doesn't need to tell me about my business requirements. No, whatever you guys call them, user stories, use cases, business requirements, user testing, acceptance, all kind of in the same bucket. You do need to review those with your tech organizations. You need to make sure that you have provided them with the information they need to write the code. If you want to move fast, that step is 100% required. It is a non-negotiable. Because if you do not do that, if you do not get clarity in that crucial process of making sure everybody understands what we're building, it will delay your dev process and it will create shitty product. Full stop. Because your devs are going to go try to build it and then they're going to have a question and then they have to stop building to come and get a question answered. And then you have to answer it and it just creates a shit show. The process was broken. It was not about the people. Step 2, accepting it is the process, not the people. So what we had to do. This is not about them. This is not about how they email you, how they talk to you, their tone. Fuck all that shit. It's the process is broken. So now what do? How do you fix the process when all you've been doing is criticizing the people? Because now we have unhappy campers. So now what do? Now what we do is we focus on the process. And in this situation, words matter. And I'm going to give you the example. This is a process issue. The conversation needs to be this. Hey, in order to clean up our change management processes, we need to start documenting all questions and changes or requests for information through our software development tool. All the communication regarding sprints, business requirements, tech requirements, and dev need to all be managed through our software tool. And here's why. This process is important because if we all put it in the dev tool and it is tagged to a feature or an epic or a user story or a tech requirement or a code review or user acceptance, if all of these things are nicely linked together in our dev tool, and all of our questions and inquiries and whatever changes we have made are all made through this dev tool and tied to the tasks, the features, the epics, the user stories, the tech requirements, the user acceptance, all they're tagged together. then we all know what happened. We all know. Everyone knows. We have, by that simple task, we will have achieved 100% transparency and accountability. And I feel personally that we will actually free up a lot of time because we won't have to check all these other channels. And it's the right process. Okay? That is the conversation that needs to happen in this situation. We need to talk about our process. Another process I'd like to talk about is how we decide what goes in a sprint. As the product owner and the business representative, I have a very good understanding of the value of our features and what makes the most sense to give an MVP and most value to the customer. So I need to be a part of that process to make sure that all of our dev resources are deployed on the most valuable tasks that make the most value for the customer and the company. That's the most effective process. Addressing each one of these issues without actually saying he, she, them, they, or anybody's name. Because it is about the process. It is not about the people. So I say this to my little protege, and she's like, well, yeah, that's what I've been saying. I mean, that's what I'm doing, and it's just not working. And I'm like, all right, well, tell me what you're saying. What are you saying to these people? She's like, I'm saying the same thing. I'm like, well, tell me what you said. Let me just hear it. Well, here's what I said. I told them that all of this communication through all of these other Slack channels, everything, all this stuff, they're all emailing me through all these other Slack channels. I told them that they can't do that because that's confusing to me. They're going to have to tighten it up. Did you catch it? Did you catch it? There's no process. There's no process. That was just Fannie Mae doing a little bark bark. She never once said the word process. She said what they are doing is confusing and creating chaos for me, and they need to tighten it up. And to her, that sounded like the same thing I had just said, though she didn't use the word process. It's not the same thing. The communication, the conversation, the words matter. The words were, we need to get back to the change management process. We need to start using the process and tools that we have. We need to make ourselves more efficient by using the process and tools that we have. That is the message. That is about process. If you're struggling and you're trying to make it work and you're mad at everybody and it's all everybody else's fault, you're focusing on people, not process. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. I believe I have all of my tech issues now solved, so we should be back and rocking and rolling. But thanks for sticking out there with me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. We'll chat tomorrow.